Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, it says on the air.
On the air.
How are you on the air? What? That's the wrong preposition.
You're surfing the air.
That's the wrong preposition. I'm not on the air. I'm actually going through the air waves. So it's through the air.
You're riding the air.
Joe, change this, will you?
Riding the air.
Through. That needs to say through the air, not on the air. On the air, I'd be free falling in space.
Joe is leaving the room. He says, I've
Joe
had enough of
Joe
you
has
people.
left the building.
Yeah,
He goes,
I'm
I'm
leaving
done.
the building.
I'm done.
I don't want to
406.
see you until Monday if I don't have to.
Good night,
406.
sweetheart. Good night.
I'm out of here at 406, Joe says.
Here's Joe.
But really, think about it. We need to correct the grammatical error that has plagued the radio industry for 100 years, since Marconi first went on the air. It's actually through the air, right?
No, it's riding the air, actually.
Riding, I'll take riding the air. Now, riding the air.
Surfing the air.
Surfing the air. But certainly not on the air. It just doesn't make sense. But on the air right now, Tom Trento.
As opposed to floating in the air,
And
which happens afterward.
CJ, yes. CJ and Mark, no Mike today. But we're all here on a Friday,
But we all
beautiful
have
Friday,
mics.
at 8 minutes past 1 o'clock if you're in California, 8 minutes past 11 o'clock if you're in Israel, 8 minutes past 9 and 10 if you're in Europe, 8 minutes past, in Qatar, in Qatar, what's the time right now?
Is that Israel time?
I don't know. It has it on the, somebody check out the Qatar time.
I'll check my...
What time is it in Al Gore's favorite country? He's loving Qatar right now, man. They are taking, the emir of Qatar is taking out his wallet, taking out $500 million, sending it to Al Gore. And he's loving Qatar, so he knows the time of day there. But welcome to Trento Vision on WNN 1470 on the 4th of January 2013. And if you're watching the show on TrentoVision.tv,
the current time in Qatar is 12:08 a.m. Saturday.
12:08, so it's 8 hours difference.
8 hours.
It's actually Saturday, 12:08 a.m.
It's Saturday in Qatar.
And what time is it in Tel Aviv?
Qatar. Well, 7 hours, so an hour less.
Is it 7?
Yep.
Are you sure?
It was 7 a couple of weeks ago, unless they switched. I don't think they switched
Well, maybe
yet.
because of daylight savings.
Well, you know
Does
what?
it change?
I have it on my phone. I have the Israeli time in here because we deal with those characters every once in a while. World clock. Jerusalem is 11:09 right now, so it's 7 hours still. Paris is 10:09. Amsterdam 10:09. Los Angeles 1:09. Newark, New Jersey 4:09. Okay, not like anybody cares. But you're on the show with us, and we are taking a look at Al Gore and his windfall. How's that? His solar windfall.
Oil fall.
His oil fall. But before we do that, we got to tell you a little bit about some of our sponsors here. And this one right here is new. This is sort of a PSA, public service announcement. And actually, Joe's involved with this. He asked me if we would read this. I said, of course we would, Joe.
Joe's gone.
On February 9th, he's listening in the car, you know.
Do you think he does?
No. He doesn't listen in there.
No.
I'll ask him.
He does
something.
because he critiques us all the time.
Yeah, but I'll ask him something. He goes, Tom, you're assuming I listen to the show, right? He listens with an ear to when he has to push a button. But in terms of content, no. I mean, how could you listen while you're playing
solitaire?
No, he doesn't.
Joe's involved with looks like a pretty cool concert that is going to be February 9th. So you got a lot of time, folks. You have over a month to get your tickets. You can get your tickets at FBC, Frank Bravo Charlie, Wellington.com, FBC. which is an acronym for First Baptist Church, Wellington.com, Denver, and the High Mile Orchestra.
Actually, pretty good.
It is. We were listening to them. We'll do these spots in next week, and we'll play a little bit of Denver. The guy's first name is Denver, and the Mile High Orchestra. Nothing to do with Denver, but a play on words.
Right.
They're premiering their Mile High hymns, so it's going to be I guess a Christian overtone to this. February 9th, 7 p.m. Saturday, Wellington Amphitheater. That holds about 1,500 people. Tickets and info, First Baptist Church of Wellington, 561-793-5670, tom@trentovision.tv. We'll give you all the information you need, or go to fbcwellington.com. While you're doing that, we're sure that over the weekend you are going to have to clean your dishes.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
I actually am too. I did one load so far, and I'm basically alone, so I don't have a whole lot of dishes. Mm-hmm. And I'm about to try the second load. Have you done any yet? Have you tried these?
No.
Okay.
I don't have a dishwasher.
I told you
That's
I
what
was
we
doing
said.
it this weekend.
He said he did have one.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
Jessica!
He said it was
I
his
forgot.
wife.
That's right.
And that's why he wasn't allowed to
we
go to
don't- we
sleep
don't have
last
an
night,
automatic
and he was
dishwasher.
emailing you at 6 o'clock in the morning because he
We're
was
not
kicked
part
out
of-
of bed.
We're not
see
part
what
of the
happened?
1% crowd. We don't have dishwashers like Al Gore does.
Well, if you had a film on your glassware and you put your regular stuff in the dishwasher, you throw one of these little suckers in, Really Clean. That's the name of it, Really Clean. It's an additive that goes with the soap, and
They're pretty cheap, too.
Yeah, it is. They're
It's about $3 a month or something.
yep for that. So, and it kills all the germs and all the bugs and all the goo that's on there. So,
But more importantly is that
really
the dishes come out really sparkly clean.
really sparkly
I
clean.
want to see how sparkly clean my cutlery gets. That's
Are
what
these
I'm-
yours?
Yeah, these are mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to that. And we want you also to go to watchdogwire.com. Watchdogwire.com. Cutting edge articles each and every day by our good friend, Lieutenant Colonel Doctor. Lieutenant Colonel Doctor, that's a lot of surname kind of.
He has
thing.
a lot of titles.
A lot of alphabet.
Yeah, Lieutenant Doctor Colonel Rich Swire, or Watchdog Swire, as we call him. I spoke with him this morning, and
he said it's okay to call him that.
yeah, I'm going to be going over there when I get back from South Carolina to go over. I'm going to try to leave after the show and come back for the next show to go see those guys over there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, see our good buddy Rich, and he's in the Sarasota area. And what else do we have here as we get into Al Gore
Tea Party Tribune.
What do you got? Tell us about that.
If you want to keep up to date on a lot of information of what's going on, not only in the Tea Party but throughout the world, you can do that. It's a great site for an informational source, and the Tea Party community is a Facebook site. TeaPartyCommunity.com is actually a Facebook site which is actually growing. They've added another 5,000 members.
Really?
In the last
We
month.
got to tap into that.
So we are.
Yes, we're going to expand the Trento Vision television internet side through that community and grow it. Tell your friends about the show, iHeartRadio. Hey, a traffic report. What do you got?
Actually,
Wow.
I have a train report.
I
and
can
I'm
see it.
going to give a train report.
Throw the camera on it.
Well, I can't.
You can't. No.
The train
Looks
report
cool from
is, and you notice all
Is it
the
carrying sand?
it's
Yes,
carrying
it is.
sand and gravel.
Yes.
And
Now,
where's it going?
It is now. Where do you think the sand and gravel is going? Where is this all? You look at these cars all the time, and they all got sand and gravel going north,
Right.
and they come back empty.
Yep.
And you ask why?
Why? Because they're delivering it up north so they can keep their roads ice-free in the winter?
No,
No.
it's called fracking.
Fracking.
Is all these box cars that you see going north with oil and with the gravel and sand are going to frack the ground, because the fracking component of oil to frack the ground is baby oil, gravel, and sand, and they don't have any of that up in North Dakota, so it's all going up to North Dakota to frack the ground to get the oil out of the ground, and so it's economical for them to ship it all the way from Florida all the way up there because we
Wow.
have so much sand and gravel down here.
Wow. Where do they get the baby oil from?
From the baby oil factory.
Which is still operational in the United States, unlike the Twinkie factory.
I don't like Twinkie.
No Twinkies.
From Johnson & Johnson.
But if you want to go to church in Qatar, you may have a hard
Good luck.
time. Yeah, you may have a hard time. The government uses Sunni law. We've spoken about that extensively. And what are we doing? Today we are, and this hour also, we're staying with Al Gore, former vice president, former Vietnam veteran, former senator, former Nobel Prize winner, former
almost president of the United States.
Almost. He won the popular vote, 500,000 votes. And he got jammed by the Electoral College 2000. We were all here.
Oh my gosh!
Remember that?
I remember that. I
Yep.
was watching. I remember the restaurant. I was watching the returns in Seattle, and staying up until 3:00 in the morning Seattle time, watching everything going on.
Yeah.
And you know, when 9/11 hit, I got to tell you that. Just about the first thought that I had was, thank God Al Gore is the president.
Everybody thought that.
I swear. That was, I mean.
I was, I live in the office is in Lake Worth, but I happened to be in Tampa during the election, and for a couple of weeks. So I was watching everything from Tampa. Then when I got back, I went downtown West Palm and was in the middle of the fight about the third week that was going on in Palm Beach over the hanging chads. And I secured 4 hanging chad ballots. And I had to give one to an attorney friend of mine. I still have 3 of them. And I'm hoping at some point they'll be worth $500 million. And the Qataris will buy them from me as a memento of Al Gore.
Good luck with that.
As a memento of Al Gore. Mr. Qatari out there, buy my 3 hanging chad ballots. You just gave Al Gore a ton of money. Give me some money. I'll cave too, okay? And we'll use it for good. That's what Al Gore is going to say. All right, but if you want to...
what's really funny about that whole thing after the election, he just like went into a big depression, and he started growing this nasty beard.
Remember that beard? Yeah, that was weird.
And he got fat, too.
Yeah,
he got really
he went
fat.
to like all... Yeah, it was hard.
It was,
actually, I found a picture. I'll
it
put
was
up a
sad.
picture.
His carbon footprint in his trial by himself. He didn't.
And then he got divorced also in 2010. Was it infidelity, or did they just said, we're out of here? I forget the
He got
details.
Divorced?
He's divorced from Tipper, yeah.
Is he really?
Separated.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they've gotten divorced
I
yet.
don't know if they
Yeah,
ever
he
got
went through a
divorced.
massive
But he had some
free
kind
fall.
of sexual harassment, something or other in the last
Oh, there
year.
he is. He doesn't look too bad there. He looks kind of hip. He looks like he may be in prison there a little bit with the... he was a nice-looking guy. He's just a nitwit. He doesn't know who he is. But he's worth a couple $100 million, though.
But then he found Jesus in the form
he
of...
blew that off real fast. He was a Christian for a while, like a make-believe Christian. And then when it became politically expedient, he blew off all the Christian stuff and went to the other side, to the left. So that bothers me, that kind of stuff, when you blow off your ethics. Let's go back to Qatar for a minute. We're going to finish there, jump into AlGorzeera. We don't skim the surface like most radio shows. They go, oh, yeah. We give you meat. We give you big Ruth's Chris steaks like that of information you can chew on. If you want to exercise your religion in Qatar, if that's what you want to do, and let me see, I'm being pointed. That's pretty good. These pictures are starting to go on the internet. People are starting to draw sort of Arabic AlGorzeera. We'll take a couple of calls in a few minutes.
Yeah, we got to have more.
Yeah. Do an
Commemorate
AlGorzeera.
Got his new beard, his new Islamic
Well, let me
beard.
get out of the Arabian Peninsula here, and if you want to exercise your religion,
want to get out of the Arabian Peninsula,
if you want to exercise your religion in Qatar, the government uses Sunni law, which we're very familiar with. That's Sharia. And it says that other people can practice their faiths. If you're Christian, Hindu, Sikhs, Buddhist, Jainism, or Baha'is, But you got to do it in private, and you can't offend any public order or morality, okay? So you can exercise your religion.
Not quite the First Amendment over
Not
there,
quite.
is it?
It's got to be in private, and if you step outside and you disrupt public order or morality, Al Gore, this is your new business partner, okay? If you're a Christian and you're walking around with a cross, or you're a Sikh and you have the turban, probably, I wonder how they deal with that. If you disrupt, in their mind, public order or morality, that's Sharia morality, then you're in trouble in Qatar. So the church, they allowed a church to be built, a Catholic church. How nice of them. But it will have no bells, no crosses, or no Christian symbols on it or anywhere inside its premises. Al Gore, that's your new partner. That's your business partner.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you're not allowed to build any more churches. You said that, right? You're not allowed to build. Once you come under this Islamic law, you're not allowed to build any more churches. You're only allowed to keep the ones that you have.
Now, what I believe is going to happen, because these guys are these guys being the Qatari family, the emirs, the hardcore monarchy, I believe they're going to have this balancing act of pleasing the United States government because of our military is protecting them, and trying to run a Sharia-compliant country. And that is a powder keg. That is an absolute powder keg. But they got AlGorzeera. They started AlGorzeera. We're going to get into that, but why don't we take one quick call?
Okay, why don't we take one quick call? Who is calling us today?
Hi, Valanda.
Hi, Valanda.
Hello, Valanda.
Listen, CJ, if you do some checking, isn't one of those investors in Current the husband of Dianne Feinstein, Richard Blum?
Oh.
I know Joe Hyatt is the main guy, but if Feinstein, that would be very interesting. How'd you hear that, Valanda?
Richard Blum, I understand, is one of the investors in Current. And by the way, CJ, yeah, they're divorced. Dipper and Al are divorced.
Oh,
they
they
did
are?
get divorced, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember that? You remember
See,
that?
I don't watch entertainment news, so I didn't know that.
No, yeah, I know. But here's the thing. I think he had this big scandal, and this woman, I think she sued something about his chakra or something. It was a big thing. It blew up. It was something happened at the massage place or whatever, and apparently.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was in Oregon or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah.
Current TV's investors included funds controlled by Los Angeles billionaire Ron Burkle and San Francisco money manager Richard Bloom, according to a 2008 SEC filing. When the company unsuccessfully sought to sell stock to the public, Bloom is married to U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, great find. I did not know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is very
We would
interesting.
put you on the payroll, but we don't have one.
Yes, you can be one of our researchers.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll do it.
All right.
Wasn't he losing money hand over fist? Because I saw MSNBC recheck, like Joy Behar, that other idiot who was on the, I forget his name. He wore the glasses. He was crazy as a bedbug. And weren't they all going to Current, what have you? And I don't think they never got the ratings. Was that the case?
Yes, I think you're talking about Keith Olbermann.
Yeah.
Keith Olbermann, yeah.
Now, are you watching, by any chance, Trento Vision right now?
No.
All right, we're going to let you hang up. Are you by a computer?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna play something that's pretty interesting. Let me see. Can you hear? Can she hear it? If you hang on, I think you can hear it. It's very good to watch. But yeah, you're right. What he did. We're jumping ahead a little bit here. What Al Gore did. He bought a company in 2006 from the Canadian Broadcasting Company, I believe it was, and it was called International News. And he paid $60 million, and he brought this team of investors, and Valanda just told us that Dianne Feinstein's husband is part of this. Oh, my God, the plot thickens. This is great. And she sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee. She's one of the key people on that. What's that?
Major conflict of interest, from what I can see.
Yeah, this is.
There's some other deals that she's also shepherded to her husband as well.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The plot thickens, but they bought the company for $60 million in 2006. They sold it December 31st for $500 million. And what they did, they wanted to have a network that was between MSNBC and and more bizarre networks that were out there, and they wanted to appeal to a younger crowd, and they just never really got it going. They brought in Keith Olbermann, who's kind of a hip, sarcastic, bright guy, and he had very few ratings, very low ratings. So, but they had contracts with distribution companies, DirecTV and satellite this, satellite that, Time Warner. But we're going to play right now. Mm-hmm. I happened to have made it to current TV. Did you know that, Valanda?
I heard that yesterday. I did not know that, but what an honor.
I made it. Tom Trento made it to Keith Olbermann's, whatever the name of his show was.
Countdown with Keith Olbermann.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This was last year, and I was honored by Keith Olbermann with his award. Here we go.
Last week, Occupy Wall Street was a haven for anti-Semites, and it was full of racists. Our fourth story tonight, when those didn't stick, the right wing pulled out a far more familiar smear, this time by calling it a front group for radical Islamists. Starting in Occupy Orlando, where conservative activist Tom Trento is claiming that the peaceful movement is in fact backed by violent fundamentalists.
Be aware, we have Islamic Sharia-compliant involvement now in these Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Orlando, Occupy events. Serious transition in a bad direction.
His evidence of this Sharia-compliant involvement is the presence of a Muslim American lawyer named Shayan Elahi. Mr. Elahi is a legal observer for the movement, also the affirmative action chair for the local Democratic Party. When he asked Trento to stop harassing protesters, Trento responded with characteristic venom.
The Barry guy.
Go ahead, just don't push things into people's faces.
We can do whatever we want.
Well, don't push it into people's faces. We're going to tell the cops.
Don't tell them whatever you want. You know?
That's your venom, Tom?
You extremist.
The guy's name is Tom Trento, and he's a jackass.
Yay!
Well,
You're only number 4 on the list, though.
Yeah. I'm a jackass. So that's my one of my claims to fame, Valanda.
That is fabulous.
Keith Olbermann called me a jackass. What could I say?
Yeah.
So I think we lost Valanda, but in any event,
okay.
Any event. But
all right, here's what we did.
That was a good call she made.
Yeah, very good. We need to get into that because Bloom. That may be a conflict there if he's getting money from the country of Qatar. Oh my God!
I tell you what, Qatar is actually in every facet of our government. I mean, when we signed that, a military base over there, that it just opened up the Pandora's box for everything. And now we have military people coming here, firemen. So all the people from Qatar now have a green light to come over to the United States pretty much willy-nilly at nauseum if they want to the point of even going up to Sanford, Florida and jumping out of airplanes to parachute to the ground. Flying Muslims. I'm like, how could that ever parachuting out of airplanes? How could that ever go wrong?
How could that ever go wrong? Yeah.
Especially, I don't know, maybe over a stadium full of football fans. Oh my God! I mean, can you imagine this?
Well, the where we are right now with the Qataris jumping out of airplanes in Sanford, it's 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, and we're taking a very deep look at Al Gore's business dealings with this country, Qatar, which has a unique relationship with the Wahhabists, the bad Sharia-compliant Muslims who are spreading al-Qaeda philosophy worldwide, number one, But also the same country houses a couple of U.S. bases to serve as a launching pad for our operations in the Arabian Sea. So it is this bizarre kabuki dance that's going on.
And plus, the Qatari government is not like, oh, we love America, spreading that across the world. They're doing just the opposite. They're coming out there and saying, oh, loathe America, the evil great Satan.
Yep.
You know, on one hand, and it's
put it this way: this is the network that Bin Laden sent all his videotaped messages for us
to hear.
He used AlGorzeera.
He used AlGorzeera as the courier for the messages that he was sending.
AlGorzeera. It's now AlGorzeera in the United States.
Yeah, did you see the graphic I put up a minute ago?
Yeah. So now we have AlGorzeera. I'm gonna read a couple of lines from AlGorzeera's website regarding their new relationship with Mr. Gore. AlGorzeera Media Network has announced that it has acquired the U.S. cable channel Current TV. The Qatar-based network said on yesterday, that it plans to create AlGorzeera America. I mean, this is beautiful, AlGorzeera America, a U.S.-based news channel that will soon be available in 40 million U.S. households, up from 4 million that AlGorzeera used to be in. AlGorzeera was on some of these little networks that get people in.
The satellite ones.
Yeah, they've been dying to get into this market because they want to spread the dawah of Islam.
But I think it's very ironic that since the launch of AlGorzeera in English, AlGorzeera is considered a direct competitor with BBC World and CNN International. That just tells you everything you need to know about the BBC and CNN, that their competition is AlGorzeera. I mean, You might as well watch the other, right?
Yeah, and right now it's AlGorzeera is seen in 260 million homes in 130 countries. So 195 countries. So they are expanding their reach for sure. It would also double as a U.S.-based staff to more than 300 employees. They're in a few key cities now. So they're going to bring 300, which means 600 employees, which means several thousand people. Right? Because they have extended families. Now, let's scratch our heads together, kiddies. And you are the intelligence agency for Al-Qaeda, the intelligence agency for, Iran, for any of our enemies. And you go, oh, these guys are going to be working in the United States, in the media, going into the White House, going into all key areas. We need to recruit some folks to be news reporters now in the United States of America.
And also, they're not coming in here looking for people with handy cams. I mean, these guys are loaded with money. I mean, the money that they're going to come in there with a first-class, high-end, top-notch organization. I mean, HD cameras, the whole Now they're going to go into and hire people to come and work for them. So now we have people that are coming in and working for them, which their loyalties are going to be to support their boss and to please their boss. I mean, so it's not, and they're going to be integrating with all these Muslims who are out there spreading the Sharia dawah in America. It's a win-win-win all the way around for these guys, because now they get to practice their dawah, they get to do their community outreach, they get to do their integration. This is just a win-win-win all the way around for them.
Well, the beauty of this from the AlGorzeera point of view in terms of infiltration into the United States government, United States institutions, the beauty of this is that there's several layers. I think I've mentioned many times here, maybe not. At one point, I was going to go into the FBI. I studied to do that, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation. When a crime is committed, the FBI comes in and they investigate the crime to solve the crime. Well, since 9/11, their function has changed to the Federal Bureau of Prevention. Now they've got to prevent terrorist attacks as opposed to investigate crimes. Totally different ball of wax. And if you talk to the agents, they go, oh, my God, our job is virtually impossible now because we got to be right 100%. I guarantee you when this message came out yesterday that AlGorzeera is buying an American company and going to infiltrate or institute and initiate themselves into the U.S., they said, oh, how are we going to watch all of these people in the media, which now enjoys First Amendment protection under the Constitution, and these people can work with impunity, operate with impunity, and we know 30% of them are going to be spies. We know that. How do we do this now?
Is it only 30?
Minimally 30%.
Gosh.
Thank you, Al Gore. Thank you very much, Al.
Thank you, Al Gore. I mean, this is so bad on so many levels. I mean, all right, well, do this analogy, okay? You are at war overseas with an organization that has in its doctrine, its core doctrine, that it must kill Jews. And it comes over and you allow it to open up a media network in the United States during 1938. Would you allow that to happen?
No, you know a point you raised that's very good. We were, well, it was pre-war then, but everybody was on
So I was talking, a war in Europe, 1938.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was on their best behavior here, sort of. But we are in a state of war right now. We are in a state of war.
Literally.
Right now, we're in a state of war.
We're killing them over everywhere.
We're in a state of war. And
are we still killing them?
With kindness.
Are we allowed to?
With kindness.
With kindness,
yes.
yeah.
It would be amazing.
We'll know when we're not in a state of war, when we don't have to go through TSA anymore. That'll be never in a lifetime for anybody because these people will always do this. But, it's a good point. Right now we're in a state of war, which means we ought not operate like we normally operate when we're in a state of war. So, all right, but let's take the other side for a second. We'll finish your point, then we'll take the other side.
Well, the point being is we know for an absolute fact that these people are supporting terrorism, that this organization supports and highlights and glorifies terrorism all the time. All you have to do is watch them, and they do it. And you're going to allow an organization to come in here to support and glorify terrorism while we're on the battlefield, while we have troops fighting terrorists overseas?
Time Warner isn't. Did you know that?
Time Warner dropped them.
Time Warner had a contract with Al Gore for current, and as soon as and all these contracts, whenever your company gets sold, there's always contingencies in there that, I don't know who you're selling it to. I got the first right or first refusal to say no. Time Warner, as soon as they found out that this thing was sold to AlGorzeera, they said, we're out of here.
Yeah, we're out of here.
Let's give Time Warner a hand.
And that's what needs to happen.
Jennifer Granholm quit her show, too. Jennifer Granholm quit her show that nobody watched anyway, but she quit it.
Oh,
former Michigan governor who.
Right. I heard about her. Okay, yeah.
Now, the point being is when Comcast, which is completely a leftist, completely in bed with jihadi type thing, puts this on the Comcast broadcast.
Of course, because Comcast is owned by a guy who owns Current TV.
And what I'm saying is once Comcast starts putting AlGorzeera, you call up Comcast and say, what the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
We got soldiers that are dying trying to stop this spread of message, and you got them here in the United States implementing. I mean, you have to put public pressure on them to say, no, not in our backyard.
Well, what would you do if you were Al Gore? 888-565-1470. If you were Al Gore, you bought something for $60 million 6 years ago. Somebody approaches you and says, I'll give you $500 for that. What would you do if you were the former vice president of the United States, a former Nobel Prize winner, a former considered nominee for an Academy Award? I mean, he had all kinds of things going on, this guy. Won a whole bunch of environmental awards. Yeah. Made his life's purpose.
Oh, God, I just can't stand
climate control. And what would you do? Would you have said, I'll take a pass? And then there's the possibility, if you got a real live buyer and you turn it down, that you've mishandled. I think he's the chairman of the board. that you've been negligent in your work in terms of the obligation you have to the stockholders.
Well, then why didn't he open it up for other people to buy it?
Yeah, but this is interesting. AlGorzeera, the website, they say this is on their website. Current media, Al Gore's company was built based upon a few key goals, and I think you read this earlier. The few key goals. Listen to the goals of Al Gore: to give voice to those who are not typically heard. Nice lefty kind of squishy thing. To speak truth to power, whatever that means. Everybody says that.
That means Occupy Wall Street.
To provide independent and diverse points of view.
Keith Olbermann.
And to tell stories that no one else is telling. Okay?
Fairy tales.
AlGorzeera says that's what we stand.
Those are our goals too.
We're just so much better. We are amazing. We are being amazed, you know. So there we have it, folks.
And it's funny, even that thing that you did that Oberman like slammed you out about being a jackass about. I mean, they were completely wrong. I mean, we were the first.
Well, I am a jackass sometimes.
Well, the point being is that you.
But you're our jackass.
Yes, that's right.
Can we say that?
Yes, you can say
When we did this, we were the first people to report on this inside the Occupy movement, that it was that many of them were being run by, these leftists, but by these jihadi organizations, by CARE. And it was, you're crazy, you're nuts, or whatever. And then later on, they kept finding out, oh my God, they're in almost every one of them. And so our story was validated as true. It was proven by many other organizations, including, leftist organizations. Well, there's CARE who is in here, doing this, starting this event. By the New York Times verified it. And so to give a slant on a news that is wrong, that's their objective? I mean, this is not a,
Well, the Israelis in years past, they have banned AlGorzeera from operating in Israel because of their pro-Hamas position.
Right.
Yeah.
They have arrested, I think they still have in custody, one of their reporters who was a spy.
Right.
So, the Israelis are on top of this saying, look, we're not buying into your nonsense.
Knucklehead propaganda.
Yeah,
it's a propaganda network. It is, in comparison, it is like allowing the Nazi propaganda over in America during World War II. Don't do it. It's not.
All right, so what lessons? What lessons for our audience, for our listeners, our viewers, can we pull out of this? And then what warnings do we have to everybody? And what activism steps can we do right now? Can we fight this? Can we attack them?
We can put together a small investor group and just follow Al Gore around and see what he's going to do next, and and see if we can't get some of that.
Yeah, Comcast
to
is going to be all
fund the
behind
anti-jihad movement.
You think there's any commercial value in doing a Roger and Me on Al and Me, AlGorzeera?
AlGorzeera. It almost sounds like an STD.
AlGorzeera, yeah. Oh God, I got AlGorzeera. Oh my God,
I was going in there and I was, filling up my SUV, and all of a sudden I get a case of AlGorzeera. Oh my God!
I hit the bathroom immediately. Oh God, it was horrible. I got AlGorzeera. Is there any cure for AlGorzeera?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can I buy some carbon credits for that? Maybe because will that take care of it?
Yes, for the cure for AlGorzeera.
God.
In any event, no, he's become such a clown. The guy. I mean, he really has. And look, he probably this needs to be investigated because these guys are doing an IO. They're doing an IO on him. They being
it on purpose.
They being the Qataris and the AlGorzeeras. They're doing an IO, an influence operation on Al Gore. They've probably paid 5 times what the thing is worth, right?
Yeah, well, they're desperate to get in this market.
Yeah.
And I think, well, he's remaining on the board. That's why I wrote in the in the email that he is part of this now.
Oh, he's on. I didn't know he was on the board.
He's staying on the board. That's why I called it AlGorzeera.
He continued to be on the payroll.
Yeah. which is pretty normal when your company is bought by somebody
because
else.
you want to be able to advise them how to have a successful business model when you have a failed one.
We
right?
got if there is a
well, actually, he has a very successful business model.
Look, if there's a donor out there, this is important. If there's a donor out there, we're very good at following people and exposing them with our cameras and all of that. I can't think of a better person to do about a 3-month campaign on. Follow this guy around, do Al Gore, do a documentary on the hypocrisy of Al Gore, see where he goes, where he eats, how he travels, all of that. Make a nice, 48-minute little mini documentary, an hour documentary out of it, and it will devastate the left. It'll cost a couple $100,000 to do something like that properly. If you're a player for that, give us a call, and we will get it done, and that will help save America.
And do you think at all possibility that Al Gore is going to have some intimate ties and relations to the Muslim Brotherhood or are really bad guys in the Islamic movement?
Is he single right now? I think he's single. Is he single?
I don't know.
Let's assume he is.
He's not on my radar, so
let me tell the audience a little something about us. We do a lot of strategic planning and constructing red team scenarios to think how the other guys would do something. And if we were the other guys, if we were them, the AlGorzeera guys now, we just hooked a whale, man. We got what's the whale's name?
Jonah?
No, the big whale story.
Oh, Ahab.
Shamu?
Oh, Ahab was the whaler, but what was the name of the big
Moby Dick?
Oh,
Moby Dick. No, Moby Dick. I'm talking about
okay.
Moby Dick. We just hooked Moby Dick, and we'll leave that one
I bet
alone.
more people know who Free Willy is.
Okay, we just hooked Free Alley, and now how do we?
Now we got to find out who's the girl.
Well, no.
Because there's going to be some hostess somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we sit down and plan. How do we own Al Gore? We're just giving him all this money. How do we own him
personally? Yeah.
And not just him. His world of influence. We need now to penetrate the influence he has. Because if you look at his bio, he is tied into so many key organizations, lobbying organizations, all these environmental front groups, all of this. If I'm a bad guy, I want to get inside of that. And it's going to take you find his weaknesses, if they're women or if they are him being honored with some sort of award, and he's a very insecure guy. So you find those, and then you start setting this up. You give him an award, and you have the woman who gives him the award kind of twinkle in the eyes, and she becomes his assistant, and not a sexual thing. This is not, you don't even do that stuff because that could destroy this. This is a serious counterintelligence operation to now exploit all the assets that Al Gore has in the United States of America, one of whom, does he still hang around with Billy Boy? The Clintons and Hillary?
I thought they didn't like each other.
Yeah, they really didn't.
They still have connections, but then again, Hillary's going to be running in 2016.
I have an article on
Hillary
here.
Yeah, Hillary likes Al-Jazeera. She thinks they're fair and balanced.
Oh, so... But do you see? I mean, obviously,
that's what happened with Uma Abedin. Look at the Uma Abedin play that's been made. I mean, they just like you said, an assistant gets in there, have a close tie relationship, build it up through the years. No security checks, no background checks. They just kind of like slip in the back door. They just kind of start doing stuff, and then all of a sudden they're the right hand person of this person.
And here's what happens.
I bet Jimmy Carter is not happy about this. I bet he's pretty jealous. They're coming after me for all my connections with the Saudis, and look at
this guy. Here's what's going to happen. Al Gore is going to be on somebody's 500-foot yacht, some sheikh's 500-foot yacht, out in the Mediterranean or wherever it's nice and warm right now.
In
the next month or so.
When you need him.
This is why we could expose this guy and make life difficult for him.
You talk about a person who's not already in the process of being brotherhoodized.
Yep, absolutely.
He's going to be so deep in the pocket of these guys, especially with this current TV deal, that he's going to have daily meetings with them, daily talks with them. He's going to be on their boats. He's going to be in their houses. This is going to be, and they're going to be so sweet, nice, and gift-giving and everything.
You got it. The viewer and the listener to Trento Vision right now at 50 minutes past 4 o'clock. If you're listening or watching, this is not a business deal, folks. This is an influence operation launched by the government of Qatar in connection, I'm sure, with other Arab nations to take one of America's top figures in many respects, with all kinds of U.S. international assets, and work him over and win him over to the Muslim Brotherhood side, and then exploit all of the connections Al Gore has. This is a massive influence operation, and they said, how much are we going to pay?
Doesn't matter. This is not about money.
We couldn't care. Just make him an offer he can't refuse.
These people do not care about money. Money is simply a way to gain power.
Yep.
And these guys get $1 billion a day on their oil. They don't care about money. There's nothing that they cannot buy.
And you know how you wish you're wrong in some analyses? It's impossible for us to be wrong.
Yes.
It's impossible in light of who these people are, Qatar, and what they're all about, the Wahhabists, what AlGorzeera is all about. And AlGorzeera, we go to AlGorzeera, the website, every day, and much of their reporting is very accurate, very accurate. Well, if it was all just crazy stuff, you'd go, what a whack job thing this is. But the accurate stuff is the cover for the other elements that they want to bring in. You got to understand that. We are in a very dangerous world of espionage, counter-espionage, all of that. We're quite familiar with all of this stuff.
And we're playing tiddlywinks with manhole covers.
We really are. Yep, that's for sure. This is not a business deal. This is a spy deal, and the United States is going to get hurt unless some precautions are taken. 888-565-1470. We're going to leave Al Gore in a minute.
AlGorzeera.
AlGorzeera. What lessons? We got a couple of minutes. Give us a quick couple of lessons here for everybody out there.
We're asleep and letting all this influence operation. And everybody's talking about how, well, should AlGorzeera have the right to broadcast in America? Should AlGorzeera have the right? It has nothing to do with First Amendment rights. This is everything to do with a spy network influence operation in the United States.
Put it this way, if it was the Chinese news agency that wanted to buy it, it would be in Congress.
Right.
Okay, because there's business interests here that are in conflict.
That's a very good point. Yep.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
But
how about
the Brotherhood?
How about this?
Fine.
How about right now? We'll call up Peter Feynman to represent Trento Vision, and we'll we'll present a prospectus to the Emir of Qatar, and say, we would like to buy one of your local stations in Qatar, and we're going to set up Trento Vision in the middle of Qatar. You think they'd let us do that?
Hell no.
Oh, wait a minute.
There's no way they're going to do that because they don't want...
Oh, they got that Sharia thing. I forgot about that.
Oh, better yet, hey, go to AlGorzeera and say, hey, you know what? You got some empty time slots because you're doing a show in America. Would you like to put me and Glenn Beck and all these other people on your network? What are they going to say?
Oh, we should call them and ask them if they want to advertise on Trento Vision. I bet they would.
Not only are we fighting President Obama, now we got to fight Free Willy, Free Allie.
Free Willy, Free Willy.
And his new bozo friends, AlGorzeera. Oh, God, we got our hands full. So what does that mean, folks? You got to help us out. Send us a couple $100 million so that we can fight the good fight here. Or $18. How about that? $18 a month. We can do that. So, the lesson is that we're asleep at the wheel. We don't see what's going on. We think it's a phenomenal business deal. There's got to be morality. We've been learning about the principles of America.
Yeah, I have not read anything positive about this deal.
Maybe it won't go through. I don't know. What do you think? We'll let you know in just a few moments because we will be right back with Robert Morsai, a.k.a. Mohammed Morsai, and a little bit of fun with Hollywood actors.